Log Quarry at the moment, right?
Yep, we're just south of Winton in southwest Queensland, and we're in Mulga habitat. Now, in Habitats of the World, it's just lumped as Mulga and acacia woodlands. In the Habitats of Australia, we've split it out into Spinifex Mulga, and it's still this acacia, which is Acacia neura, which is the main mulga, but it still encompasses other things like lancewoods and gidgee. They've essentially got the same bird assemblage. But the reason it's called Spinifex Mulga is look underneath, you'll see that the understory is dominated by Spinifex.
Okay, but also we've had this big flush of water in the last few months, right? So we're currently experiencing this woodland in a sort of bumper year.
Oh yeah. So I was here last year, same time of the year, and the ground was just completely bare, just little tiny patches of Spinifex. Besides that, so none of these flowers, none of these grasses.
But also the Spinifex itself is normally like a yellow, orange, brown, dry, spiny, and now it looks all green.
With that, this is a habitat that's dominated by blossom nomads and birds that come in that are eruptive. So they may contract to a smaller area and have far fewer numbers, but when the rains come, because the rains are so infrequent, the birds just breed up like crazy. So we're having flocks of thousands of budgies flying around us. You know, you're getting things like crimson chats, which are not normally in this habitat.
And then black honeyeaters were in big numbers.
Yep, black honeyeaters are in big numbers, and they'll switch between mulga and mallee and whatever. They're an extreme blossom nomad.
We've also had cockatiels in big flocks.
Yep.
Lots of wood swallows are in huge numbers, and these things are somewhat eruptive too, right?
Oh yeah, yep. The wood swallows are also eruptive and serious blossom nomads.
But then we've also had a bunch of the resident mulga specialist birds this morning.
Yeah, so if you were coming here even during the drier season, the drier years, you're still going, you're looking for your Hall's babbler. We actually had a Hall's babbler group around a couple of minutes ago here, which are very range restricted bird endemic to this part of Queensland.
Chestnut-breasted quail thrush, and of course Opalton grass wren are your big main specialties in this zone, right?
Yeah, the Opalton grass wrens come, mulga parrots as well. Yeah, Opalton grass wrens are in here, and they'll go out into the rockier Spinifex and even the Spinifex savanna. But they're a very range restricted bird. They're always in the Spinifex, but they're in a couple of micro habitats.
And then what about the emu wrens?
No, the emu wrens are not in this. So we're very close to rocky Spinifex, but you never get the rufous-crowned emu wren in this material. They're always aside. You can be there listening to rufous-crowned emu wren and chestnut-breasted quail thrush at the same time. It's just that they're in different habitat. Also, inland thornbill is quite particular to here. They're found in a variety of habitats, but in this area, inland thornbills are very common. And then you've got your usual suspects like red-capped robin and the like. And so this material generally forms on a clayier soil than the rocky Spinifex, where the ridges have the rocky Spinifex, and then where you're getting this clay, you'll pick up the mulga. It forms. The reason it does that is mulga tends to form where you have a bit of a hard pan under the soil. So if we dug down, get a slightly more compacted area, and what that does is that means that it's a semi-impermeable layer underneath, and the water comes down. So one of the characteristics of mulga is that it has very shallow roots, whereas mallee, which is a eucalypt kind of sister habitat, you could say, their roots are very deep. The mulga roots are very shallow, and they're honed in on just tapping into that small amount of water that gets concentrated. And also, the acacias, they'll concentrate water that lands, and they can actually send it down the spines of the phylloids, down the branches, and again concentrates it in the area.
There's also quite a few small flowering plants, little daisies and things like that have obviously popped up, which are ephemeral, I imagine, and only in the very wet seasons, and then those will just die back, right?
Yeah.